currencies that make up the dollar index are slowly being devalued. And so that's why it'll eventually be why it worked in 2019. It's why it's going to work now. Gold's going to make new highs in dollar terms. That gold's going to 2,300, maybe even 2,500 next year. And if that's the case, I'm equally sure that the gold silver ratio isn't going to 100. What the heck are we going to do with silver? So you only think it's manipulation on the downside. No, you don't understand how this market works if that's what you think.
In a pivotal year for precious metals, gold and silver take center stage as experts discuss the challenges posed by a system relying heavily on derivatives. The fragility of the current setup necessitates continuous printing to avert a potential crash, raising concerns about the diminishing availability of physical gold. Renowned industry figures Maguire and Craig Hemke delve into the historic context, highlighting events such as the 2013 LBMA breakup and subsequent innovations in contracts. The discussion underscores the urgency of physical gold ownership amid a backdrop of unprecedented global gold buying, with 2024 poised to bring potential seismic shifts to the market. As confidence wavers in traditional financial instruments, gold and silver emerge as crucial assets, gaining traction as a reliable store of value and safeguard against systemic uncertainties. Now, we'll show you clips of the interview, but first, subscribe, and turn on notifications as everything helps with the algorithm, and check our pinned comment for some massive sign-up bonuses. Let's get into the video.
So you only think it's manipulation on the downside. No, you don't understand how this market works if that's what you think. The banks will always try to work it in the direction that benefits them. And that gets to the end about, what we said earlier about all of a sudden there's some real benefit to having a higher gold price in helping them manage the physical delivery and the physical flow. Because again, in this current structure, that's the banks are, they're monopolistically in control of how the pricing scheme works. So again, all of this I think does augur though toward a very solid 2024. We certainly look to wrap up 2023 at least in line with the annualized gains we've had going back since the turn of the century, now 23 years. Gold's on average in dollar terms annualized about 10%, which again, great. Even in this system, that's just fine. But next year should be a real humdinger. And it'll be fun to see, Andy, now here in December, how it goes too. The economic data should be weak. The jobs report, we'll see exactly what that shows when, I know this is going to be out on that day. It should be weak. The seasonal adjustments, the birth death adjustments for November are typically very weak. So we'll see, but that should be kind of set the tone for the month. I've seen some reports here at the end of November about how CPI, even the Fed's CPI now forecast is projecting a negative CPI when the report comes out in the second week of December. All of those things could speed things along. We get through the tax loss selling season of the miners, which even with the late year rally, there's still losses to be harvested to put up against your Magnificent Seven positions. That usually concludes by about the middle of the month too. We could end this month in an extraordinarily bullish situation, technically and fundamentally. And so the time for people to kind of prepare for that is now, as they're listening to you and I, because we look like we're on the edge of something pretty significant in 24.
Silver prices are poised to register their first weekly decline in 4 weeks, driven by the recent strengthening of the U.S. dollar. As the global market closely monitors the precious metals performance, spot silver experienced a modest dip to $23.82 per ounce, marking a nearly 2% decrease for the week. In contrast, U.S. silver futures demonstrated a marginal uptick, reaching $24.12. Despite the current weekly setback, silver has generally maintained robust support above the $23.90 threshold. The anticipation of crucial U.S. jobs data further adds to the market's cautious sentiment, with investors closely eyeing its potential impact on the Federal Reserve's rate decision in March. Earlier in the week, silver reached a noteworthy 7-month high at 26.34, primarily propelled by optimistic expectations of an impending Fed rate cut. However, uncertainties surrounding the persisting of the anticipated cut led to a subsequent decline in silver prices. The market is now navigating through a delicate balance, with the precious metals value hovering above key support levels while awaiting key economic indicators that could sway its trajectory. Key among these indicators are recent economic reports, including the ADP Employment Change Report and the Job Openings and Labor Turnover Survey, JOLTS, both pointing towards a cooling U.S. labor market, complemented by lower than expected weekly jobless claims. These data points are deemed crucial ahead of the Federal Reserve's policy meeting next week. While the central bank is widely expected to maintain existing interest rates, market participants seek nuanced insights into future policies and the broader economic outlook. The influence of the U.S. dollar on silver prices remains a pivotal factor. A potential breakout from the dollar index's 3-week losing streak could render silver more expensive for holders of alternative currencies. Concurrently, the eagerly anticipated U.S. non-farm payrolls report is poised to be a significant determinant of market direction, with specific attention on metrics such as the unemployment rate and average earnings. In conclusion, the short-term trajectory of silver prices hinges on forthcoming U.S. labor market data and the subsequent response from the Federal Reserve. With market expectations hinting at a potential rate cut by March, the outcomes of these economic reports will be instrumental in shaping the direction of silver prices in the weeks ahead. The prevailing market sentiment for silver leans towards a cautious, bullish outlook, considering the vulnerability of support levels amid ongoing economic uncertainties. Now, we'll show you more clips of the interview, but first check our pinned comment to get the best sign-up bonuses for you to add crypto to your portfolio. Like and subscribe to let us know you like the video, and watch the video till the end so you do not miss out on our experts' take.
It's going to outperform gold. It has to. It is the most undervalued commodity on the planet Earth. And we just did a little interview with our dear friend Bill from Gatta.
Oh, yeah.
And you know, he's. I mean, obviously, he expresses such frustration about how come it has been suppressed for so long. And you know what? I think, as far as silver's concerned, yes. You know what I think has been part of the problem? I actually think that because it's been contained long enough, the commercials, I actually think, and this is why I think we saw a short squeeze, and we're recording this on the 29th, so we saw a short squeeze in silver suddenly commence on Friday, and then it went into first notice, and it went above the option sweet spot. And why? Because there were margin calls. And why was that? Was because suddenly it was the specs who were holding the shorts.
Yeah.
The specs have been writing option calls against silver because they've been sucked in. And it's this game where don't ever wipe them out. Just let them win a little bit, but keep them in the game, and we'll keep them in this wash and rinse cycle. And it's the speculators that's been the problem. And so sure enough, right on Friday, suddenly they bet against 22. They bet against 23. And in the option structure, as you know, they bet against 24 and 25. When it started to look like it was going to close on Monday above 24, there were margin calls.
Yeah.
And who was on the long side of that? Commercials are on the long side of it. This is a farce. The whole thing's a farce.
Do you agree with Craig and Andy on today's topics? Post in the comment section your honest prediction for gold and silver prices for 2024, as it's very important to us to know your thoughts on the matter. Thanks for watching the video till the end, and I see you on the next one.